Join me today as we take a shave with Occam's razor. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Heinrich and I'm the Real Nuclear Physicist. Today's video, we'll be taking a look at Eric Dubay as he explains Occam's razor and how it applies to the flat Earth.
Occam's razor is a scientific and philosophical rule stating that entities should not be multiplied unnecessarily, or, in other words, a principle purporting that the simplest of competing theories is preferred to the more complex. Occam's razor suggests that explanations of unknown phenomena be sought first in terms of known quantities, without adding any extraneous postulations, assumptions, or conclusions.
Thanks for that definition, Eric. Yes, Occam's razor, simplified, the simplest solution is usually the right one. And that's exactly how we go about when we do science experiments. We don't just jump to the most difficult conclusion that we can think of. As the experiments are done, the simplest solution sometimes gets disproven. And then what happens is we move to the next simplest solution until we get to a final conclusion. So there you have it. Nobody ever just jumps to the most difficult solution.
When applied to the current hot-button topic of the flat versus globe Earth cosmologies, Occam's razor, time and again, applies to only one side of this debate.
When looking at Earth, yes, at first it seems flat. But that's where the scientists carry on, and that's where the flat earthers stop. The scientists carry on. We say, the Earth seems flat. Let's try and see if we can prove it. And then what do we get? It's not flat. Whereas flat earthers, you go, the Earth seems flat. And then you stop there.
Whilst the other is constantly found multiplying entities unnecessarily in defense of their theory.
When talking about multiplying entities, I'm guessing you're speaking about the flat earthers. Because you guys multiply your dome, your local sun, your local moon to infinitum. And you always seem to miss the simplest answer, which is the Earth just isn't flat.
In the geocentric level Earth cosmology, the horizontal horizon always rises to the eye level of the observer and remains perfectly flat 360 degrees around, regardless of altitude, because the Earth itself is a flat, level, horizontal plane exactly as it appears.
Well, there you go, lying through your teeth again, Eric. The horizon doesn't rise to eye level, and it never has. In fact, you can do experiments. Look at these. They show at different altitudes that the horizon rises with the viewer. The only reason it seems like it stays at eye level is because your eyes are drawn to the horizon.
In the heliocentric globe Earth cosmology, however, the horizon isn't horizontal, but eventually starts to bend. Doesn't always rise to eye level, but eventually falls below it.
I think you've mistaken the term horizon for the term horizontal, because horizon doesn't mean horizontal. Horizon comes from the Greek word horizon kyklos, and I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. But in simplest terms, it's the limit of a circle. And that's exactly what the horizon is. It's the furthest point of the sphere that we can see.
And doesn't remain perfectly flat 360 degrees around the observer, but instead curves 360 degrees around itself into a sphere. The former is what everyone actually experiences, as all amateur high-altitude footage, filmed without a fisheye lens, shows a perfectly flat horizon rising with the camera as high as we can reach, over 120,000 feet high.
Guess what? The horizon does remain flat, or seems flat, at 360 degrees around the observer. Why? Because it's a sphere. If you're on top of a sphere, the horizon, which is the limit of that sphere that you can see, will always be the same distance from you, and will seem to go around flat as you turn your head. Why? Because you're turning your head in a circle along that sphere where the horizon is the limit that you can see.
The latter, however, is what is claimed by NASA and other space agencies, reinforced by their CGI artist renderings.
Let's stop there for a moment and take a look at these images that you show us. The reason all images of the Earth seem to look different is because it's different cameras that are used, different post-processing methods that are used, different exposure values, you name it. None of the photos have been taken with the exact same variable setting. And that photo in the top left corner, where North America seems larger than life, I do believe Simon Dan has given a thorough debunking on that. So please go have a look.
Fisheye lens photography.
Firstly, CGI was invented long after NASA went to the moon and gave us images of the Earth. And Photoshop, they just mean it's a composite image. Why? Because it's difficult to take a single image of a very large object when you're close to it. And if you ever look at any of your images, it seems like you're the ones most of the time using fisheye lenses.
And a very select group of government employees known as astronauts.
Astronauts is not a clever play on words used by whomever you think is in charge to deceive you and to play a trick on you and say they're catching you out. No, it comes from a Greek word meaning star sailors. And to be honest, I'd rather be called a star sailor because it sounds much cooler.
Occam's razor would suggest that without sufficient evidence of a curving horizon bending 360 degrees around itself into a magical floating ball, concluding such a cosmology would be found guilty of multiplying entities unnecessarily.
The thing is, Eric, we have evidence that the Earth is not flat. You just don't want to accept it. Like I stated previously, it's the flat earthers that fall victim to Occam's razor. You are the ones multiplying your entities and refusing to see the plain, simple truth right in front of your eyes. I mean, even your own flat earthers have proven that the Earth is a sphere. And yes, I'm looking at you, Jeranism.
The same applies for Earth's apparent complete lack of motion. In the geocentric level Earth cosmology, the Earth is stationary and immovable.
The key word there is apparent. It might seem like we're standing still, but the only reason for that is because we're moving at a constant motion. We can't feel non-accelerating motion. That house of cards you have on that image, if you build it on a plane at a constant motion without experiencing turbulence, you'd still be able to build it, even though the plane is traveling at 900 kilometers an hour.
While the sun, moon, and stars all move over and around us, exactly as it appears to everyone who has ever lived. In the heliocentric globe Earth cosmology, however, the Earth only looks and feels motionless, but is allegedly spinning around its own axis at 1,039 miles per hour, while simultaneously orbiting around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour.
This example I'm about to use comes courtesy of the comment section of one of my previous videos. If you are sitting on a train and you're swinging a ball around your finger on a string, it would seem that that ball is just going around your finger in a circle. Whereas if you are outside of the train in a different reference frame, it would seem that that ball is spinning in a spiral. That's exactly what happens to the Earth and the Sun and the universe. Depends on your reference frame, that's what you'll see. If you're moving with the Earth around the Sun, then it won't seem to you like we're moving in a spiral. Whereas if you're outside of the solar system in another galaxy, looking at the Earth orbiting around the Sun and the Sun orbiting around the Milky Way, if you track the Earth then it might seem like it's spinning in a spiral. But that's only because you're in a different reference frame.
While the entire solar system spirals 500,000 miles per hour around the Milky Way galaxy, which itself is supposedly shooting millions of miles per hour more away from an inexplicable creationary explosion at the beginning of all space and time.
I'm pretty sure it's not the first time that you've heard this, Eric. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion like we have bombs exploding on Earth. In the most simple terms that I can put it so that you can understand, just think of it as a rapid expansion.
None of these alleged motions have ever been proven.
That's another lie, Eric. Seems like I'm going to have to put a lie counter every time I look at a video that you make. The motion of the Earth can be proven, and it has been proven. Once again, you just refuse to accept the results. And another thing, the flat earthers have also proven that it's in motion. That famous 15 degree per hour drift, you've proven it.
And instead have been repeatedly falsified with experiments such as the Michelson-Morley, Michelson-Gale, Sagnac, and Airy's failure.
All of these experiments you've just referenced wasn't set up to prove the motion of the Earth. In fact, they were set up to test various aspects of the proposed ether. Again, let's look at this like Occam's razor. At that stage, we knew light was a wave, and we know waves need a medium to propagate through. So we proposed a medium that light propagates through, called the ether. After various experiments, we've proven that there can't be an ether. So the conclusion is, there isn't an ether. Let's stop there for today. I think I've heard enough lies. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe button. I'm Heinrich, I'm the real nuclear physicist, and I'll see you next time.